This is such an interesting film. It's sci-fi, it's thriller. Was there something about Jake or about the premise for this that really drew you to want to be a part of the film?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, I'd worked with the director before, so for me, it was like I just saw this immense talent that he had, and I kind of knew that Jake would be in good hands, and the story would be in good hands. And Jake is a character that is intriguing because there's so many aspects of him that I couldn't relate to. If that makes sense, it's like there were some bits and pieces that I was finding that we had a lot in common, and that we shared common ground on, and then obviously there's others that we didn't, and so that was kind of something that scared me, I think, at first, and ultimately, as an actor, you want to make those choices, right? You want to make those choices that are going to push you into directions that you most normally, I guess, wouldn't go. So finding that arrested development, that Jake has, and who this person is that's been in solidarity essentially for 20 years. I thought that was kind of fascinating to kind of pick away at.
Well, his relationship with Troy is so complicated as well. Talk about working with Steven to sort of flesh out that relationship.
Yeah, Steven is obviously, an immense talent. Him and I, we didn't have a lot of time to prepare together, but we had a lot of conversations. We were in touch with each other, and kind of we were sending each other quotes from different books that we like, and different movies, and different poems and things like that, back and forth, just to kind of get familiar with each other, but also staying in character as Jake and Troy, which I thought was really cool. I'd never really experienced anything like that. And then when we did get to meet, we really wanted to hone in on the importance of the physical space that they acquire. These are two people, a father and son, who are everything to each other and have been alone for so long that like, what does that do to you as a person, when you're sharing one space, in a small space at that, with one other person? So
psychologically,
exactly, like we spent a lot of time just kind of feeling each other out, and like being around each other. I found myself just like studying him from afar and up close, which I think is, hopefully he didn't find it too creepy, but just being in each other's space. And we really wanted to kind of create that vibe, and hopefully, each other brought the preparation as far as the acting work that you do beforehand and stuff like that. But we really kind of wanted to get familiar with each other and who each other was as Steven and Drew before we, touched base on Jake and Troy. So he's really, a special talent, obviously, as I think we're all aware. So it was very easy for me to kind of play off of him, I guess. It sounds very cliche as an actor, but he is he's someone who can just be laughing and joking, and in the moment that camera's ready, he's in, and he's locked in, and he's staring at you, and you're like, oh,
game okay, on.
I gotta bring my A game. So yeah, he made it very easy though.
What's going through Jake's mind then when he's forced to go into this uncharted world? His father is hurt. Is he just adrenaline pumping, gotta do this, or is he scared?
I think it's a bit of both. I think he's definitely scared because this is unknown territory, and as much as Jake has kind of ventured out onto his own and collected little things and pretended that he was ready and that he's a man and that he can do all this, there is that part of him that's like, I've never had to do all this. Daddy has always had my back. Dad has always taken care of me. So I think there is a bit of that unknown element to Jake that is fear-based and fear-driven. But I think that he's also felt for a long time that he is ready and that he can take care of the family and that he can prove himself to his father, because ultimately that's kind of been a driving force for him for a few years at least. And so, yeah, he's, I think, a little scared, a little overzealous, but also, you know, ready to kind of take on that challenge. It's been years, right? So, yeah.
What is it about Henrietta then that really draws him to her, or her to him?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a loaded question, right? You know, Jake is someone who's been without a maternal figure in his life, you know, pretty much for as long as he can remember, since he was 5 years old. So, um, you know, what is that changes you as a man growing up with your father, who is very regimented and very militaristic in his preparations and how he raises you. And, you know, I think Jake has always felt that something was missing, and he wasn't sure what it was. And you kind of get to see a little bit of that in the when he goes to his little secret spot and he has all his toys and he's looking through magazines. And I think he feels his mother. I think he feels her presence always, but I don't think he really knows what to make of it. And so when he sees Henrietta, it's a lot of things. It's, how can this be? You know, how can this be? How can this person be here? Why don't they seem to be what I've always been told they are? And, you know, I've never seen, I always say that she's the unicorn in Jake's universe, because she, you know, she's a myth. She's a mythical creature to him, right? He's never seen or been around a woman. So to see one, and a beautiful one at that, and, you know, all these emotions arise and he just really doesn't know what to make of it. And so I like to kind of liken her to just this unicorn kind of grazing in the meadow, you know, when he first sees her. He doesn't really know how to process that. And I think you kind of see that unfold in the decisions he makes, you know, in the coming moments after that.
There's so much intensity and grit to the film. How did you shake off a long day of shooting?
Um, yeah, it was intense. But I kind of knew that going in. We knew that this was going to be a bit of a guerrilla shoot. There, you know, it was a small crew. Um, Everybody kind of had to be on the same page. Everybody had to be, you know, prepared and ready to do their part, because that's essentially what it is. You know, everybody has their own part. It's just you know, making movies one giant, you know, machine, and everybody's playing their part: actors, producers, crew, everybody. So um, it was long hours, and it was cold, and it was wet, and it was snowy and rainy and windy. So yeah, the days got long into the night, and when you're done, you know, I'm usually pretty exhausted. I had some busy days, so I sleep. I listen to music a lot. I like to walk on my own. I like to just kind of get out in my space. I got some nice noise canceling headphones, so I would throw those on, and about 25 layers of clothing, and then just go walk the streets of Butte like a total creep in the middle of the night. Sometimes like 1 o'clock in the morning, I would literally put my jacket on and just go walking, because I kind of needed to decompress a little bit, you know? So yeah.
What do you think it is about Last Survivors that's kind of gonna make it a fast fan favorite thriller?
Oh yeah. You know, I don't know. It's hard to answer that in just one sentence, because there's a lot, at least in my mind. I guess I'm a little biased, but I also know that the story is, you know, it's about these three characters who ultimately are flawed in their own ways, you know. And this is a story about hope, and you know, the idealism that Jake has. And I think right now we could all use a little bit of that. You know, I think we're all kind of in a situation where we're not certain on the future, and we're not certain on where things are going, and you know, how or why or what are all these things, and to just kind of keep hope, and to lead with love and idealism, which Jake kind of represents in this story. So you get a little bit of both. You get a little bit of everything in this. You get the heartfelt story, the father-son relationship, that dynamic, and you get a bit of the mystery and the intrigue and the psychological thriller, I guess. you know, when I read it, it was a page turner, and that's ultimately something that excites me, and that helps me decide whether I want to do a project or not, is if I can't wait to turn the page, you know, and just see what's going on next. And that was definitely one of these. So it'll leave you, you know, I've talked to some people who've seen it and they're like, you know, it grabbed my attention from moment one, and it didn't let go to the end. And so I thought that was a really, you know, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's good to hear about your film. So I think people will really enjoy it.
What are the other recent projects you've been busy working on?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of producing, which is something that I've wanted to do. So I'm working with my producing partner Sunil, and we've got a couple projects actually right there on the brink that we're trying to go for early this year, like within a month. A buddy of mine, Alan Richson, who was playing Jack Reacher. We did Titans together. He is going to direct, and he wrote a script that Sunil and I are producing, and I'll be in as well. So him and I are going to star in that. We're out to some actors and actresses right now, which hopefully I'll be talking to you again about it, you know, end of this year maybe, because this is one that, you know, I can't say too much about it, but it's a dream come true for me. It kind of checks all the boxes. So
That's so great.
It's really, really exciting. So we're kind of putting the finishing touches on that. We have another one that we're about to go called Back Home, which is a very grounded sci-fi film. It's very grounded in reality. It's a small film, but really, really exciting. Really, really exciting. Yeah, I can't give too much away, but
good.
You'll be hearing about it coming up soon. So yeah.
What would you like to say then to everyone who continues to be such a fan and supporter of the wonderful work you do on our screens?
Oh my goodness. Thank you. You know, from the bottom of my heart. It really does. It really, really, really does mean a lot. I've had a lot of fans who have stuck with me through the years, and you know, I'm in contact with them as well, and you know, they've just been so supportive of everything I do, and it's hard to put into words, because it does mean so much to you to just have that support, you know, because you don't always have that, and you don't know, oh well, if I, you know, don't stay in the limelight, or if I don't do this or choose this role, or, you know, are these fans are they kind of like just supporting me because of this or that, whatever, and to see that people have kind of stuck through and are really excited about this film and the next stuff that I have going on is it's a blessing for sure. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys who continue to support me and are interested in what I'm doing next. And hopefully I won't be letting you guys down. So thank you.